إذا كنت تريد أن تكون على مذهب السلف تعلم مذهب السلف.
الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خير الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. So we continue with the Aqidah that we're going through, and the chapter of seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and carrying on with the evidences and the adillah that we've looked into. So we get into it with Ad-Dalil al-Khamis. This is now the fifth evidence. قوله عز وجل لهم ما يشاءون فيها وَلَدَيْنَا مَزِيدٌ. And it is the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala where He said that they will have in it that which they will, or that which they desire, and with us is an increase. So again, similar to the previous evidence that we looked into when we spoke about the ayah where Allah mentioned لِلَّذِينَ أَحْسَنُوا حُسْنَى وَزِيَادَةً. For those who do good is al-husna wa ziyada, an increase. Likewise, similar in this ayah that we have the word mazid, an increase. So it's similar to that evidence that we've already covered previously. We'll go through the tafsir of it. قال الطبراني قال علي بن أبي طالب وأنس بن مالك هو النظر إلى وجه الله عز وجل. So likewise, the tafsir of this ayah here, similar to the previous one that we took, where it's mentioned that the word mazid here is looking onto the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the fifth evidence. Ad-Dalil al-Sadis, the sixth evidence now, and this is much more detailed. قوله عز وجل لا تدركه الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار. So that's the ayah where Allah mentioned in Surah Al-An'am, that Allah mentioned no vision can engrasp Him, but He grasps all visions. Then Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah goes on to explain وَالْإِسْتِدْلَالْ بِهَذَا أَعْجَبْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْ أَدِلَّةِ النُّفَاتِ. So that using this as an evidence is amazing, that he mentions, because it is from those evidences that the negators try to bring, as we discussed previously. Likewise, in the first evidence, that is from those evidences that those who negate the seeing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yawm al-qiyamah and in the akhirah, that is the same. This is one of the evidences that they try to bring to negate that, and to say Allah cannot be seen, because in the ayah it says لا تدركه الأبصار, that no vision can grasp Him. So they use this as an evidence to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be seen. So they say that this idrak here that's mentioned in the ayah, that this encompassing or grasping, that no vision can encompass Him, is mentioned here in the ayah, that they use this to say that it's the same as al-ru'yah, as seeing, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be seen. And Ibn Qayyim goes on to refute this, and he says وَقَدْ قَرَّرَ شَيْخُنَا وَجْهَ الْإِسْتِلَّالِ بِهِ أحسن تقرير وألطفه وقال لي أنا ألتزم أنه لا يحتج مبطل. So he goes on to say that Shaykhuna, he mentioned Shaykhuna, and when Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah generally mentions Shaykhuna, he's referring to Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. So he says Shaykhuna, that he has affirmed, that our Shaykh has affirmed that the angle of which this is considered an evidence with, is used in the best affirmation. And that likewise he said that he holds firm, going back to that previous qa'idah that we first mentioned in the first lesson, that previous qa'idah, that previous principle that we first mentioned, that Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah is here mentioning again, that I hold firm. This is Ibn Qayyim quoting his Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah. They said that I hold firm that no denier brings forward a proof or uses a proof, an ayah or a sahih hadith, using it as a proof upon their batil, upon their falsehood, except in that same evidence is that which is indicative or indicates the opposite of their statement. فَمِنْهَا هَذِهِ الْآيَةِ, and from that, from that principle, is this ayah. Now, because this is an evidence that they try to use to prove their falsehood, but in reality, it is in opposition to them, and is a proof against them, and against their batil. So he goes on to mention, وَهِيَ عَلَى جَوَازِ الرُّؤْيَةِ أَدَلُّ مِنْهَا عَلَى امْتِنَاعِهَا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى إِنَّمَا ذَكَرَهَا فِي سِيَاقِ التَّمَدُّحِ. So he goes that this ayah, it is more indicative upon the seeing of Allah, upon the possibility that Allah can be seen, the capability that Allah can be seen, than it is upon the impossibility of it. And the reason being is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it as a praise. That He was mentioned this ayah as a praise of Himself. ومعلوم أن المدح إنما يكون بالأوصاف الثبوتية وأما العدم المحض فليس بكمال ولا يمدح الرب تبارك وتعالى بالعدم إلا إذا تضمن أمرا موجودية. So he goes on to mention, he says, that is known that a praise is only done by mentioning attributes that are in affirmation. By mentioning attributes of Allah that are in affirmation, a description that is affirmative of Allah, that Allah is capable to do something, that is an affirmation, it's an attribute that's affirming something for Allah. And he said, as for an outright negation, then it is not something that is perfect. And we know that Allah's attributes are perfect. So an outright negation, it can never be something that is perfect, that is from perfection. It is not from perfection. وَلَا يُمْدَحُ الرَّبِّ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى بِالْعَدَمِ, that Allah is not praised with something that is negative. Allah is not praised with something that is negative or a negation, except if that negation or that affair necessitates in reality or is affirming something. So except if that negation that Allah is mentioning is affirming the opposite of it. كتمدحه بنفي السنة والنوم المتضمن كمال القيومية. As like for example, when Allah negated for Himself becoming old and sleeping and sleep, that this is actually in reality an affirmation of Allah's eternalness. So it's a negation of something, and it's an affirmation that Allah is eternal, of Allah's eternalness. وَنَفْيِ الْمَوْتِ الْمُتَضَمِّنْ كَمَالِ الْحَيَاةِ, and also negating death. There is an affirmation of Allah's complete life, that Allah is all living, that Allah is all living. وَنَفْيِ اللُّغُوبِ وَالْإِعْيَاءِ الْمُتَضَمِّنْ كَمَالِ الْقُدْرَةِ, and likewise when Allah negates for Himself fatigue and exhaustion, and becoming tired and fatigued, that this necessitates Allah's complete ability and capability, that Allah is capable of all things, that Allah doesn't tire or become exhausted. وَنَفْيُ الشَّرِيكِ وَالصَّاحِبَةِ وَالْوَلَدِ وَالظَّهِيرِ الْمُتَضَمِّنْ كَمَالِ رُبُوبِيَّتِهِ وَإِلَهِيَّتِهِ. And likewise negating, when Allah negates for Himself a partner or offspring or an aid or helper, that this is affirming Allah's complete rububiyyah, Allah's complete lordship, and His ilahiyyah, that He is the only one who has the right to be worshipped. وَنَفْيُ الْأَكْلِ وَالشُّرْبِ الْمُتَضَمِّنْ كَمَالِ الصَّمَدِيَّةِ وَغِنَاهُ. And likewise when Allah negates eating and drinking for Himself, that this is an affirmation of that He is the self-sufficient, that He is self-sufficient and He is not in need of these things. وَنَفْيُ الشَّفَاعَةِ عَنْهُ بِدُونِ إِذْنِهِ الْمُتَضَمِّنْ كَمَالِ تَوْحِيدِهِ وَغِنَاهُ عَنْ خَلْقِهِ. And likewise Him negating for Himself the shafa'ah, the intercession, without His permission, and without Allah having given permission for the intercession. That this is affirming for Allah the perfection of Tawheed, of worshipping Him alone, and that He is sufficient from His creation. He does not need His creation. وَنَفْيُ الظُّلْمِ الْمُتَضَمِّنْ كَمَالَ عَدْلِهِ وَعِلْمِهِ وَغِنَائِهِ. And likewise, negating from self-oppression. There is in affirmation of His justice, that Allah is just. وَنَفْيُ النِّسْيَانِ وَعُزُوبِ الشَّيْءِ عَنْ عِلْمِهِ الْمُتَضَمِّنْ كَمَالَ عِلْمِهِ وَإِحَاطَتِهِ. And likewise, when Allah negates for Himself forgetfulness, or not knowing a thing, that this is affirming Allah's complete knowledge of all things. He's able to encompass all things with His knowledge. وَنَفْيُ الْمِثْلِ الْمُتَضَمِّنْ لِكَمَالِ ذَاتِهِ وَصِفَاتِهِ. So here we see a pattern. That's what Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah has mentioned in many examples of this pattern here that we see. And this is also another principle that we're going to take and go into later. That when Allah negates for Himself, that Allah is negating something for Himself, then it is an affirmation of the opposite. It is an affirmation of the opposite. It's an affirmation of the fact that He is perfect and His attributes are perfect. And the reason why Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah is mentioning this is to show that this ayah that they're trying to use as a proof, where Allah is negating here that the visions can grasp Him, can encompass Him. So Allah is negating that the visions can encompass Him. لا تدركه الأبصار, that those visions cannot encompass Him. Then here this negation is mentioned as a praise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praising Himself. So Ibn Al-Qayyim rahimahullah is saying, how is Allah praising Himself with something that is in negation? And if that's what you guys are trying to say, Ya Ahl Al-Bid'ati wal-Dalalah, if you people of innovation and misguidance are trying to say here that Allah is negating the fact that He can be seen, then how is this a praise? Allah is mentioning this as a praise for Himself. So if this negation of Him being seen, how is this a praise? Rather, it's the opposite. It's not a praise. So here Allah negating that the visions can encompass Him is in reality an affirmation of the opposite. Yes, reality, an affirmation of the fact that He is perfect and His attributes are perfect, as we're going to discover later, and the fact that Allah is not able to be encompassed due to the fact that He is tremendous, due to His tremendousness. The visions cannot encompass Him entirely due to His tremendousness. ولهذا لم يتمدح بعدم محض لا يتضمن أمرا ثبوتيا. And due to this, that is not praised with a sheer negation that doesn't include something that is in affirmation, on affair that is in affirmation. فلو كان المراد بقوله لا تدركه الأبصار إنه لا يرى بحال لم يكن في ذلك مدح ولا كمال. So if it is intended by this statement, لا تدركه الأبصار, the visions cannot encompass Him. If it is intended by this that He is not seen, then there would not be any praise in this. There will not be any praise nor any perfection. نعم. فإذن المعنى أنه يرى ولا يدرك ولا يحاط به. نعم. So therefore, the meaning of this is that He is seen, but He cannot be fully encompassed. He cannot be fully encompassed by our visions. Cannot fully encompass Him. كما كان المعنى في قوله وما يعزب عن ربك من مثقال ذرة. Now, there is not an atom's weight, that is absent from your Lord. Yani from His knowledge, from Him knowing about it. وفي قوله ولا يظلم ربك أحدا أنه كامل العدل. And likewise in His statement that He does not oppress, that your Lord does not oppress anyone. That it is indicative of His great justice, the fact that He is just and that His justice is perfect. وفي قوله لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم أنه كامل القيومية. And likewise in His statement that He is not overtaken by age nor sleep, that this indicates or affirms for Him that He is all eternal. فقوله لا تدركه الأبصار يدل على غاية عظمته وأنه أكبر من كل شيء وأنه لعظمته لا يدرك بحيث يحاط به فإن الإدراك هو الإحاطة بالشيء. And likewise in the statement لا تدركه الأبصار, that the visions cannot encompass Him fully, that it indicates or is an evidence for His superiority. فقوله لا تدركه الأبصار يدل على غاية عظمته وأنه أكبر من كل شيء وأنه لعظمته لا يدرك بحيث يحاط به. So likewise in His statement لا تدركه الأبصار, that the visions cannot grasp Him or encompass Him, that it indicates, it was an evidence for His superiority, His greatness, and that He is greater than anything, and due to His tremendousness that He cannot be fully grasped or encompassed. So it's a praise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praising Himself, that due to His tremendousness that He cannot be fully encompassed or fully grasped by people's visions, by the visions of people. فإن الإدراك هو الإحاطة بالشيء. So إدراك, يعني this إدراك is encompassing, is إحاطة بالشيء, يعني fully encompassing something or fully grasping something. وهو قدر زائد على الرؤية, يعني there is something that is beyond just seeing. It is something that is greater than just seeing. Yani it's more meaningful than just seeing something, because you may be only able to see a part of something. You've not fully grasped that thing with your vision. You've only saw a part of it. So it's different from seeing. Unlike how they try to claim and say that this idrak, yani this encompassing or grasping, is the same as seeing or envisioning. But no, they're two different affairs. And now Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah brings a proof for that from the Quran. Just like we established in the first evidence that we went through, how we go through the Quran, and the Imma, they go through the Quran and they look at where these other words have been mentioned, in terms of the linguistics, how this other word idrak and ru'ya has been mentioned in the Quran, to show and to prove them that their understanding of it or what they're trying to use this ayah for is incorrect. So Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, he brought the statement of Allah Ta'ala, فَلَمَّا تَرَاءَ الْجَمْعَانِ قَالَ أَصْحَابُ مُوسَى إِنَّا لَمُدْرَكُونَ قَالَ كَلَّا. So when the two groups saw each other, notice the word saw has been used, that when the two groups saw each other, that the companions of Musa said that we have become, that we are now overcome or surrounded or encompassed, fully encompassed. قَالَ كَلَّا, Musa replied with no. إِنَّ مَعِيَ رَبِّي سَيَهْدِينَ, that my Lord is with me and He will guide us. So here in this one ayah is mentioned, Ar-Ru'ya is mentioned, seeing is mentioned, and likewise Idrak is mentioned in this one ayah, and being encompassed is mentioned in this one ayah. But yet there's two different meanings to them, and they do not share the same meaning. فَلَمْ يَنْفِ مُوسَى الرُّؤْيَةِ, that Musa did not negate the seeing. When he said kalla, when he said no, he was not negating the fact that they were seeing each other. Because it says clearly in the ayah, فَلَمَّا تَرَاءَ الْجَمْعَانِ, when the two different groups saw each other, يعني the group of Fir'aun and the group of Musa alayhi salam. The companions of Musa alayhi salam, they said that we have become mudrakun. From the word idrak, يعني they have become overwhelmed, surrounded, overcome. And then Musa negated that. He said, Kalla, yani we are not overcome. So see the difference in terms of the meaning behind the two here. And that Musa alayhi salam never negated them actually being seen, them seeing each other. The ru'ya he never negated. وَلَمْ يُرِيدُوا بِقَوْلِهِمْ إِنَّا لَمُدْرَكُونَ إِنَّا لَمَرْئِيُّونَ. And they did not intend by their statement that we are overcome, yani that we are not seen. They didn't say we are not seen, because they were seen. They were facing each other. Yani the group of Fir'aun were coming towards them. نعم فالرؤية والإدراك كل منهما يوجد مع الآخر وبدونه. So this sighting, يعني the word الرؤية, sighting, and إدراك, يعني being encompassed, is found with one another and likewise without it. فالرب تعالى يرى ولا يدرك كما يعلم ولا يحاط به. So likewise our Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala is seen, but he is not fully encompassed by our sight. As he is known, that Allah is known, but a person cannot say that they have complete knowledge of Allah. So he is known, but he's not encompassed by a person's knowledge due to his greatness, and this is mentioned as a praise for Allah. And this is not Allah negating, just having a sheer negation of an attribute for himself as they try to claim, but rather it is a praise for Allah, and due to his tremendousness and his greatness, that it's not able for anyone to fully encompass him and to fully envision him subhanahu wa ta'ala. فهذا هو الذي فهمه الصحابة وإمة من الآية. And this is what the Sahaba understood from this ayah, and the A'immah likewise in their tafsir. Then he quotes from Ibn Abbas explanation of the Quran, where he quoted لا تدرك الأبصار يعني لا تحيط به الأبصار. So he used the word إحاطة and إدراك, that they are the same meaning, and not الرؤية, يعني that he is not encompassed by the visions, that he is not grasped by the visions. قال قتادة هو أعظم من أن تدركه الأبصار. That is greater, more tremendous than the visions should be able to encompass him. That is greater than that. He's more tremendous than that, than being grasped by our visions, by our eyesight. قال عطية ينظرون إلى الله ولا تحيط أبصارهم به من عظمته وبصره يحيط بهم فذلك قوله تعالى لا تدركه الأبصار وهو يدركه الأبصار. Likewise the same thing from the tafsir of Atiyah, where he mentioned that they will look onto Allah, but their eyesight will not fully grasp him or encompass him, due to his tremendousness, or due to his greatness. But his vision, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his vision will encompass them all. فالمؤمنون يرون ربهم تبارك وتعالى بأبصارهم عيانا ولا تدركه أبصارهم بمعنى أنها لا تحيط به. So the believers will see their Lord with their eyes, with their vision, their eyes. But their eyes or their vision will not be able to fully encompass him or to fully grasp him. ونظير هذا استدلالهم على نفي الصفات بقوله تعالى ليس كمثله شيء. And then he brings another example from Al-Qayyim rahimahullah, where he mentions that the similitude of their statement, or them using this as an evidence, is the negation, how they negate these attributes by using the statement of Allah, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, there is nothing likened unto him, there's nothing like him. وهذا من أعظم الأدلة على كثرة صفات كماله ونعوت جلاله وأنها لكثرتها وعظمتها وسعتها لم يكن له مثل فيها. So this is from the greatest of evidences upon the numerous perfect attributes and descriptions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that due to the fact that they are numerous and tremendous and their vastness, that there is nothing like unto him. So this likewise, Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah showing the similitude between it, that this likewise is a praise for Allah. Even though it's mentioning something that is negative, is a negation, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, there is nothing like unto him. But in reality it's a praise for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it shows that he is unique. That he is unique due to his tremendousness and the amount of attributes that he has. وإلا فلو أريد بها نفس الصفات لكان العدم المحيط أولى بهذا المدح من. So if it was intended by this, this statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ليس كمثله شيء, there is nothing likened unto him, that if it is intended by this to negate his attributes, that this outright negation would be first and foremost from a praise, than a praise. مع أن جميع العقلاء إنما يفهمون من قول القائل فلان لا مثل له وليس له نظير ولا شبيه ولا مثل أنه قد تميز عن الناس بأوصاف ونعوت لا يشاركون فيها. So all of those who have intellect, that they understand, when it is said about an individual, لا مثل له, that he has nothing, there's nothing like him, nothing can compare to him, there's nothing to resemble him. That is in reality a praise. We're saying that is a praise. There's nothing like him. He is the best at what he does, that he has become distinguished now from the people with his attributes, with how he is. When you say about a person that fulan, so and so, that there's no one like him, he's unique and he's one of a kind, and that he's special, in reality it's a praise. It's a praise. Likewise, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions about himself, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, there is nothing likened unto him, that it is a praise and it is not a negation. It is not an outright sheer negation, as they try to say. نعم. وكل ما كثرت أوصافه ونعوته فات أمثاله. نعم, that when a person's attributes become many, become numerous, the more that a person's attributes become many and numerous, that those resembling him become more obsolete. And the more a person has with him these unique characteristics, that anything that resembles him or is likened unto him becomes obsolete. نعم. فقوله ليس كمثله شيء من أدل شيء على كثرة نعوته وصفاته. So the statement ليس كمثله شيء, there is nothing like it unto him, is from the most, or is the most indicative thing upon the numerous attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وقوله لا تدرك الأبصار من أدل شيء على أنه يرى ولا يدرك. And likewise, his statement that the visions cannot encompass him is from the most indicative things, or from the most indicative thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be seen. But he cannot be encompassed by those visions. He cannot be fully grasped by those visions, or by those seeing him. So now Shaykh Rabī حفظه الله, he goes on to explain. في هذا الفصل يضع لنا ابن تيمية وابن القيم قاعدتين والتزم إحداهما والثانية كذلك. الأولى أنه لا يحتج مبطل على باطله بنص من القرآن والسنة الصحيحة إلا وفي ذلك النص من القرآن أو السنة يتضمن بطلان ما يذهب إليه هذا الضال. So he says here that Ibn Qayyim and Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, that they have affirmed for us two great, tremendous principles. The first one we mentioned likewise in the first lesson, and again here, that there is not a text that a person who denies, that he uses to try and support his denial or his batil or his falsehood from the Quran or the Sunnah, except in that same text is that which goes against or refutes his batil. That's the first principle. The second one that they mentioned, the Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah brought, أن الله تبارك وتعالى لا ينفي عن نفسه شيئا إلا وفي ذلك النفي ما يتضمن إثبات صفة كمال لله عز وجل. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't negate for himself anything, except within that negation is that which consists of affirming an attribute for Allah, a perfect attribute for Allah Azza wa Jal. So these are two important, tremendous principles. Second being that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not negate anything from himself, except in that negation is that which consists of or comprises of Allah affirming a perfect attribute for himself. As Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned and brought numerous examples of that we went through. Shaykh Rabī mentions, he says, العلم أمر ثبوتي والقدرة والإرادة والسمع والبصر أمور ثبوتية. All these sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having knowledge, having capability, the ability, having hearing, having sight, that all of these things are from the affairs that are in affirmation, they're affirming something for Allah. And that's why we find throughout the Quran that Allah is negating the opposite of these affairs in order to affirm this for himself. In order to affirm the opposite for himself. ما يمدح الإنسان إلا بالصفات الثبوتية التي تتضمن الكمال للصفات السلبية. He said likewise amongst the people that a person is not praised except with attributes that are positive, are in affirmation, a positive attribute, that he's not praised with something that necessitates or something that is negative or a negation. And the reasons he's mentioning this here is to show, like we mentioned, the ayah that Allah mentioned, لا تدرك الأبصار, that the visions will not encompass him. that is mentioned as regards to a praise to Allah, Allah praising Himself. So how is it that Allah is praising Himself with something that is negative, that He cannot be seen? And how does that make sense? That a person, likewise, if a person is praising himself, he wouldn't mention something negative. He wouldn't mention something that is a negation or something that is negative. He would mention something that is an affirmation, or affirmation of His qualities, of His attributes. Likewise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He would not praise Himself with something that is a negation or an outright negation, without having something to affirm the opposite. So if they're trying to use this ayah to say that Allah is negating the fact that He can be seen in the hereafter, then their istidlal is wrong. The way they're using this ayah is wrong, is batil, because Allah is praising Himself, and Allah wouldn't praise Himself with something that is a sheer and outright negation, that has no affirmation in it. How does that make sense even? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would praise Himself with something that is an outright and sheer negation, without affirming the opposite of it. And that's why you find throughout the Quran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is negating something for Himself, this is a praise for Allah, because in reality He is affirming the opposite of that negation. As we mentioned, all of those ayahs previously, Al-Qayyim rahimahullah mentioned about al-akil wal-shurb, about eating and drinking and sleeping, that Allah negated these things for Himself. Why? It wasn't a sheer negation. It wasn't just to negate these. It was to affirm the opposite of them, or to affirm that which it necessitates, and to affirm His perfection and that His attributes are perfect. نعم. وأما العدم المحيط فليس بكمال كون الله لا يرى إطلاقا لا في الدنيا ولا في الآخرة فهذا ليس فيه أي مدح لله تبارك وتعالى أبدا. So he said, as for a sheer negation, then it is not something that is from perfection, because Allah is perfect, His attributes are perfect, so Allah is praising Himself, and that a sheer negation is not from perfection. And them claiming that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not to be seen, never, not in the dunya, nor in the hereafter, then what type of praise is this? And it's not a praise for Allah. نعم. إذن لا تدرك الأبصار ليس المراد تنزيه الله عن الرؤية عن أن يراه وإنما المراد إثبات أنه يرى ولكن لعظمته لا يحاط به. نعم. So that this ayah, that the visions cannot encompass Him, that is not intended by it that Allah is removing Himself from being seen, that He cannot be seen because the visions cannot grasp Him or cannot encompass Him. Rather, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala affirming for Himself that He can be seen. However, those visions are not able to fully and entirely encompass Him and to grasp Him, due to His tremendousness and His greatness. نعم. بل في المخلوقات ما يرى ولا يحاط به. نعم. So Shaykh Rabī Hafidhullah is giving examples now. He says, likewise in the creation is that which can be seen, but it cannot be fully encompassed. الشمس ترى ولا يستطيع أحد أن يحيط بها. That the sun can be seen. The sun can be seen, but it is not possible for a person to see it in its entirety and to fully encompass the sun in its entirety. Likewise, he mentions والسماوات السماوات ترى والكواكب والأشياء هذه ما يستطيع المخلوقون أن يحيطوا بها. That the sky and the planets, and likewise these things, that it's not possible for the creation to fully encompass these affairs. And that's why they're discovering all these new stars and new planets constantly. And it's not possible for the creation, even in regards to our knowledge, our limited knowledge, to encompass it fully, let alone it being seen in its totality, in its entirety, that it is seen and fully encompassed by our visions. And this is just something which has been created by Allah. The skies have been created by Allah. The planets have been created by Allah. So how about the Creator, Allah Himself? How is it that we say that this creation cannot be encompassed, fully encompassed? Likewise, we say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He cannot be fully encompassed, or the visions cannot fully grasp Him. However, He is seen. And likewise, there's examples of that within the creation. The planets, and the stars, and the sun, and the skies, that they can be seen. And a person may even see a part of it. However, he's not able to fully encompass the whole thing. Now, as Shaykh goes on to mention, he says, الذي يقول رأيت الشمس, the one who says I have seen the sun, يقال له أحط بها, did you fully encompass it? Did you see it in its entirety? يقول لا, he would say no. رأيت السماء أحط بها, you've seen the sky, but did you see it in its entirety? يقول لا, he would say no. فكذلك الله تبارك وتعالى, so likewise is Allah, يرى ولا يحاط به, that He is seen but He is not fully encompassed by our sight or by our vision. وهو أولى بذلك سبحانه وتعالى, and He is first and foremost and more befitting of that, subhanahu wa ta'ala.